Hi, I'm Jada. Today I come to Gazhane Museum and I will describe you the Gazhane Museum. Let's get started. And firstly, I will describe you the history of the Müze Gazhane. Museum Gasworks or Müze Gazhane has a long and interesting history. In the 118th Istanbul did not have an electric, so people used gas to make lights in the streets and their homes. Because of this, the city needed a gas factory. The gas factory was built in the late 19th century. The factory was very big and had many metal buildings. Workers brought coal to factory every day. The coal was heated in large machines to produce gas. Then the gas was cleaned and sent to the city through long pipes. Thanks to this gas, Istanbul became bright at night. People could walk and feel safe in the streets. For many years, the factory worked day and night. Many workers had a difficult life there. The place was not hot, noisy, and dirty, but their work was very important for the city. Later, technology changed. Electricity became popular and cheaper. People started using electricity instead of gas for lighting. Because of this, the gasworks factory closed. The building stayed empty for a long time. They became old and damaged. After many years, the city decided that these old buildings were important for history. Instead of destroying them, they wanted to protect them. So the gasworks was restored and changed into museum and cultural center. Its new name was Museum Gasworks. Today, Museum Gasworks is a beautiful place. Visitors can see the old machines and learn about the past and enjoy art, science and nature in the same area. The museum shows how an old factory can become a modern cultural place. This keeps history alive and teaches us about energy and technology from the past. This is the history of the Gazhane Museum. And let's start traveling now. Let's start by visiting the Science Center. And there is and now we come to motion energy system. The system says press the pump to push water in the system. Let's pump it. When you have enough water in the system, press one of the buttons to release water. I press this. We are waiting. When 150 watts of power is applied, the water empties in 24 seconds. There is a hand press button in there. When you press it, it shows the gravity data of the world and Turkey. And this one, it shows earthquake data and hydroelectric data and coal and petroleum and natural gas and nuclear and wind data and tide data, and we see sun data here and geothermal data and lighting data and wave data. Now we are at the pulley system. There are 3 different pulley systems. First, we pull the rope of the first system. I can pull it easily because it's block and tackle system. When I pull the rope of the second system, it's harder than the first one because it's movable pulley system. And finally, when I pull the rope of the third system, it's hardest system in the feels the heaviest because it's fixed pulley system. Geothermal energy system. I turn the value on the pipe and allow hot water to come from underground. I observe the turbine above spin with the steam of hot water. I observe the water return back to underground after thermal energy transported to the energy. Motion energy. Energy forms. Gravitational energy. And the pulley. The lever. Generation. And coal and nuclear. Solar energy. Oil and natural gas. Earthquake and energy. Lightning energy. Uranium. Green energy. Energy efficiency. Carbon emission. And natural cycle. But most of the systems doesn't work. In there's an exhibition about Ekrem İmamoğlu. The child's draw for Ekrem İmamoğlu. Like this. There is a Arife Batur library. Let's get him. And there are so many books.
Bir hafta gidiyorum erkeklerden bir hocam deodorant gerçekten çok işe yarıyor.
Now we come to Climate Museum and let's look at this is about the energy from the sun and the electromagnetic spectrum. This screen is about the difference between climate and weather. And this is about Earth system. There is a Earth picture in here. And the screen is about the energy balance of the Earth. Hydrologic cycle and carbon cycle. Climate process for temperature and carbon dioxide. And the greenhouse effect and greenhouse gases. Where and how is atmospheric carbon dioxide measured? How is temperature measured? The temperature of the Earth can be measured through two methods. One is via a thermometer at a ground station. The other via measuring infrared radiation by satellites. And this 4 screens about air pollution. And this is about the story of Mauna Loa and the causes of climate change. And there is what is natural climate variability. It's about. And there is a T-Rex picture. Lystrosaurus is the ancestor of mammals. This screen is about climatic change in the past and the reasons for mass extinctions. It's the dinosaur pictures. And this graphic is about biodiversity during Paleozoic. And this is about difference between natural and human driving causes the climate change. And this is about climate, truth, human evolution, and the history of evolution. And this table is about what are the national factors that cause climate change. And this is about what is radioactive forcing. How do today's change in the climate differ from those of the past? Global temperatures over the past 70 years and there what is the sun contributing to temperature change on the earth? This graphic is temperature versus solar energy. And the difference between ozone depletion and climate change. And we come to second floor. And now we are going to Climate Museum too. We are going to Climate Museum too. And now we come to Climate Museum too. This table is about socio-economic impacts of climate change. This is about the news. I think this is an earthquake picture. There's a koala here. Economic effects of the climate crisis. Sea levels and daily lives. Emergation, temperature, fires, eel, water scarcity. This is the turquoise virile waters. And this graphic says water stress by country 2040. Water reservoirs in Earth system. Fresh water, unfrozen fresh water, surface water, food security and agriculture. Global trends and challenges that are shaping our future. Demand for food will grow. Population will dramatically increase in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. 2/3 of the world's population will live in cities. People suffer from nutrient deficiency. People are generally hungry, and this graphic shows percent of yield projections. Charts on food security graphic. One out of every 10 person in the world today suffers from hunger, and childhood malnutrition is still very common. And the effects of climate change on the energy system. Impacts on tourism. Climate change will affect tourism centers, especially ski resorts, coastal resorts, and nature destinations. Increased deaths in heat waves. Possible effects of the climate change. Climate change is the biggest global health threat of the 21st century. Public health. Infections disappears increasing due to climate change. Cities and climate crisis. Cities are the places most affected by climate change. At the same time, cities are responsible for 17% of the greenhouse gases that cause climate change. Air pollution. Air pollution is one of the most important environmental problems. That's due to air pollution graphic. What are the sources of air pollution? Transport, industry and energy supply, waste management, dust, household energy, agricultural practices. Climate crisis and migration. Human rights, future generations, and climate crisis. And I am going second floor. This floor is about greenhouse gas emissions. Carbon buckets and fossil fuels. This is a graphic of that. Total carbon bucket and amount used. This is about project temperature rise in the coming years. And this graphic is about emission signatures. Share of emissions by socioeconomic group. Lifestyle combustion emissions, personal capital. Global average, poorest, richest, and global two, G20 represents world population, world trade, world carbon emission, world economy. There's flags. Country's average person capita carbon footprint. There are some countries annual carbon emission by country. And this is a graphic about annual greenhouse gas emission by country. Changes in carbon dioxide emissions over the years. Emissions from the manufacturing industry. sources of methane emissions. Natural gas and petroleum systems. Electric fermentation and livestock manure. Agricultural waste and others. Rice duration. Coal mining. Landfills. Greenhouse gas emissions by source and electricity generation. Greenhouse gas emissions by source. Fossil fuels. All other sources. Energy use. Energy use for fossil fuel production. Forgative emission, known energy use and other. Annual emissions by sector and end use. The accumulation of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Fossil carbon dioxide. Land use change. Ocean sink. Land sink. Atmosphere. Anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions. In 1970, 1975, in 1980s, 1985s, 1990, 1995, 20s, 5, 2010. Greenhouse gases and sources. International climate politics. And we are going to first floor. How is the climate changing? Industries and impacts. This is about tipping points. Climate change impacts on biodiversity. The sixth mass extinction. decreasing wild species since the rise of the human civilizations. Wild animals, marine mammals, plants, and fish. Positive feedback measurements. And there's a graphic about albedo effect. There's a tree picture here. And relationship between temperature rise and climate change related impacts. Global mean temperature change graphic. Global mean temperature change graphic 2. The increase in climate change related disasters. There's a graphic of number of the relevant events by peril. Now we are going to third hall. Climate change communication, solutions and activism. In this hall, there is a small solution in books, polish, the climate crisis, climate fiction, works, play, films and documentaries, cartoons and exhibitions. Stars views. The raft of Lampedusa, Lake Meca and Crater Lake in Konya dried up due to effects of the climate change and improper irrigation. A woman and her child during the big floods in South Sudan. Smoky orange skyline on the Golden Gate Bridge in the San Francisco during wildfires in California. There's a cat here. And there is books. You did it. Enjoy this summer. COVID-19. And that was Foster's here. There's books about the climate. freeze fossil fuel extraction to stop climate crimes. Climate movement in Turkey. Global climate movement. Paris Agreement. The main aims of the Paris Agreement graphic. Glasgow Climate Pact improves these targets. This is the graphic too. Climate politics in Turkey. Tropical clones, tornadoes and storms. Climate change implies hurricane impacts, storm surges, extreme rainfall, torrential wind speed, floods, deluge. There's a graphic about that. Climate change illustrations flood risk by increasing extreme precipitation, increasing total precipitation, changing snow patterns, decrease in precipitation and drought. Decrease in precipitation, drought and desertification. Graphic. Increasing forest fires. Rising temperatures. Larger burned area. Emission from fires, more carbon. Why does a rise 1-2 degrees in average temperature increase the extreme weather events? There's a graphic about that. Heat waves. There's a picture of a flood. Venedik. Sea level rise in Florida, USA. Melting in glaciers in Greenland and Antarctica. Sea level rise. Melting sea ice in the Arctic. Melting of permafrost forest. Permafrost. Temperature records. 10 hottest years on record globally. The hottest year is 2020. Global temperature and carbon dioxide graphic. And there's a book house here. There is old buildings here. And there is old buildings too. So many different flowers here. And my video is finished. Thank you for watching me.